Hi, 5th graders. We're working on Lesson 18 now. Please make sure that you have your name and number at the top of the page. And then we're going to get started. We're working on multiplying decimals. So this is really just review. So let's write 2 3/10 times 1 8/10. Now it looks like I lined up the decimals, but actually when you multiply, you just line up the right numbers. It just so happens that the decimals lined up, but they don't have to. Okay, let's start out. So what is 8 times 3? Okay, 24. So I'm going to carry my 2. Then 8 times 2, 16 plus 2, so we have 18. I'm going to cross out my carry, cross out my 8, 0 placeholder. Now we have 1 times 3 is 3, and 1 times 2 is 2. All right, let's add straight down. 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 3 is 11. 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. Good. Now what I would like for you to do is look at the decimals. If we count over 1, 2, that's the same thing we need to do in the answer. Starting on the outside, come over 1, 2, that's where your decimal goes. You don't actually have to have these jump marks, but I just put them there so that you could see what we did. Okay, let's skip down and do question D. I'm going to scoot it up a little bit. I'll put it in the middle. Well, anyway, there it is. Okay, so we will take 3 3/10 times 1 4/10. 3 times 4 is 12. Carry my 1. 3 times 4 is 12 again, plus 1, 13. Cross out my carry, cross out my 4, placeholder 0. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 3 is 3. Going to add 2 plus 0, 3 plus 3, 1 plus 3. Same thing with my decimal, go up and count over 1, 2. So down here, 1, 2. The decimal goes right here. So our answer is 4 62 hundredths. Okay, let's come down and look at question E. Two 38 hundredths times 1 8/10. This question really helps you see that you're not lining up the decimals, you're lining up the digits on the right. Okay, who knows what 8 times 8 is? Good, it's 64. So I have my 4, carry a 6, 8 times 3, 24 plus 6, 30. 8 times 2, good, 16, plus 3, 19. Cross out our carries, cross out our 8, placeholder 0. This next row is really easy because it's times 1. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. Now you're going to add straight down. 4 plus 0 is 4. 0 plus 8 is 8. 9 plus 3 is 12. 1 plus 1 plus 2 is 4. Let's count our decimals. 1, 2, 3 places. 1, 2, 3 places. And that's exactly what we do on each one of those. All right, turn your paper over. Let's look at question 2. It's a word problem. It says, Carolyn buys 1 2/10 pounds of chicken breast. If each pound of chicken breast costs $3.70, how much will she pay for the chicken breast? So we're going to take the $3.70 and multiply it times the 1.2. Again, we don't have to line up decimals. We're lining up the right digits. So I have a 0, 14, 6 plus 1 is 7. Cross out my carry, my 2, placeholder 0. Next column, so 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 3 is 3. Now add it up. Okay, let's put that decimal in. 1, 2, 3 places. 1, 2, 3 places. Okay, remember, when you have a decimal number, you don't have to have the 0 at the end. And when we have money, we just go to the hundredths place. So what we're going to write is the chicken cost $4.44. Put a period there because it's the end of my sentence. All right, let's look at the next question, and that talks about a kitchen that measures 3.75 meters by 4.2 meters. And it says find the area of the kitchen. Think about the formulas you know, and if you can remember the formula for area. Okay, good. Area equals length times width. Sometimes we say base times height. Either one works. The numbers that we're going to use are the 3 75 hundredths times the 4.2. I wrote them over here in my formula, but we're also going to put it over to the side so we can actually work it out. So go ahead and be writing it down. Notice that you have your numbers lined up to the right side. And let's multiply. 2 times 5 is 10. Carry the 1. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1. That's 15. 2 times 3 is 6 plus 1, which is 7. Cross out my carries. Cross out my 2. Placeholder 0. Okay, 4 times 5 is 20. 0, bring up a 2. 4 times 7, what is that? 28 plus 2 is 30. 3 times 4, 12 plus 3 is 15. Okay, now we're going to add straight down. 0, 5, 7, 5, 1. Let's place our decimals. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So now I'm going to write my answer. 15 750 thousandths meters squared. Remember, it's squared because we're using two measurements, length times width. Okay, let's look at the next question. It's kind of a challenge. This one says the area of the living room is 1.5 times that of the kitchen. So we found the area of the kitchen. And the living room is 1.5 times. Here's your 1.5. Now we're using decimals, so we need to turn 1.5 into a decimal. most of you know that a half is 0.5, so we're going to take 1.5 times this number up here, the kitchen, 15.570. We're going to multiply those two numbers, and then we'll have the area of the living room. So I'm going to come over here to the side. Lining up my numbers on the right side. Go ahead and multiply, so we have a 0. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 7 is 35 plus 2. 37, good. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 3, which is 28. And 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2, which is 7. Cross out all those carries, cross out your 5, placeholder 0, and we're ready for the next number. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 5 is 5. And 1 times 1 is 1. Now we get to add them up. So we have 0. 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. 7 plus 8 plus 1, that'd be 15 plus 1 is 16. 5 plus 7 is 12, plus 1 is 13, and 2. Now let's find that decimal. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the answer to this question, 23.625, and we don't have to have the 0 on the end. Now all we know right now is this is the area of the living room. We want to now find the total area of the living room and the kitchen. So let me show you the numbers that we're going to use. We're going to use this number. This is the area of the kitchen. I just noticed I need to put meters squared right here. This is my area of the living room, and we're going to add those two together. So go ahead and write them down. And we're adding, so this time our decimals do need to line up. If I had left the 0 out here, I could have just put another 0 underneath, but my decimals do line up. So do you remember where this number came from? Right up here, it's the living room. We could put LR for living room, and this one is the kitchen. Okay, let's add it up. 5, 7, 13, 8, 9, 3, and we are still talking about meters squared. This number here, I'm going to circle it. It's our final answer. That is the area, the total area of the living room and the kitchen. Slide my paper up just a tiny bit so I can write my sentence. The total area, there we go. The total area of the living room and kitchen is 39 and 375 thousandths meters squared. Great job!